Hi, welcome back to another episode of Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this week's episode, we're going to work on the 33 exhaust. Got some more parts came in, some hangers and whatnot to try and finish the exhaust onto it. If we have time left over, we'll either work on Ellie's 5-window coupe, which we haven't touched for several weeks, or we'll do some more work on a Camera Lady's 32 Ford Roadster. But nevertheless, one way or the other, we're working on the 32 and 33 Fords. Well, today after Christmas, Boxing Day, decided to come out the garage here and start working on the exhaust for the 33 coupe. Got a little bit done here. Added the next section in of the straight pipe there. We've got our first joint in place. I can't make it all as one piece because there's really no way of putting the full exhaust into the frame. Got to make a couple joints. So that's our first joint there. We're going to have a second joint up here where the muffler is. Kind of have the muffler positioned close to where I want it to be. Got my first rubber hanger in place with the 3/8 rods. There'll be a second hanger up here as well, holding the muffler in place. One complication that I forgot about. I still want to put the mufflers in this area, but we've got to put the panhard bar in place. Ordered some new rubbers for those, so we'll have to put the panhard bar in place. Really want to go up, over, and down, so I think the path is going to have to go from here under the panhard bar, and then that is the largest area to go down and out with the exhaust. That's the plan. That's what I'm going to work on. Going to piece by piece make our way through. We'll do one side here and we'll get it out. I'm sure that I'm going to get it after enough cuts and welds. My stainless steel welding is improving ever so slightly, at least not blowing as many holes into the exhaust, regulating the heat and everything else. However, I'm down to my last welding rod here, so we're going to have to cut her short for tonight. Going to go pick up some more welding rods tomorrow, and we're going to carry on with it. So hopefully we'll get this all the way out, and out underneath the back there'll be a gas tank in the back, the same position as what it is in the original. So we're going to have to go down and then straight out. But got enough pipe over there. We just got to go get some more welding rods to carry on. I've been slowly plugging away at the exhaust. This is a little more difficult getting in and around the rear transverse leaf spring than what it is with coilovers and 4-links. I mean, 4-links can make it difficult too. But I think what I've come up with right now, I've got the exhaust basically running straight through the frame, like the owner wanted us to do. We've got one hanger, just like I mentioned previously. I had to straighten the muffler out because I wanted it to clear the ladder bar. Then we've come up straight, done a 45 there, and then dropped down in between the axle and the rear leaf spring. And at the moment, we're coming out here at about a 45-degree angle. From the where it comes down. Now, I'm going to talk to the owner. I'm not sure whether he wants to continue coming straight out on a 45 and shoot out to the side, or we'll put another 45 on this and then come straight out the back underneath the frame horn. So we'll see what he wants to do there. And then next up, I'm going to work on the hanger to attach this part of the exhaust to probably the cross member right here is what I'm thinking. But we've come up with a little bit of a snag here, kind of like what I was thinking. We are just about out of argon gas, so I'm probably going to have to switch to something else here on Sunday. Right now it's late Saturday night because I can't get gas until Monday morning. So anyways, I'll mess around with this a little bit more. We'll move on to something else. We'll go get gas, and then we'll come back to working on the exhaust. I think I mentioned this in the last episode or the beginning of this episode. Wanted to put the door catches on the Camera Lady's Roadster. These are the original style latch plates or catches or hooks or whatever you want to call it. They go on the B-pillars. They bolt in place with quarter 28 machine screws. Normally they come with a bolt behind it, which is kind of hard to access with a wrench. So one of the things, I don't know whether I saw someone else do it or came up with it I'm sure someone else did this, but I took a piece of 1/4-inch bar stock or plate or whatever you want to call it, and I drilled and tapped quarter 28 holes on them so that they'll go like that. So what that allows us to do, I'll show you putting it on here in a couple minutes, is that when this goes on the B-pillar, this comes from behind. You don't need a wrench behind to use a nut to tighten it. You can just use the screwdriver to tighten things in. So simple little thing, but just makes it easier for adjustments. We're going to go put those on next. So there's a door latch installed there. Right now, hopefully we can see around the back. Yep, there it is there. So that's the little plate that I made up to go in the back to tighten it. And right there. So a couple things, like right now the door will not completely latch shut, but that's okay. There's two things we can do. One, when I installed these rubber bumpers, they weren't trimmed. So more than likely, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them down. I'll take them back out. I'll put them on the belt sander downstairs and bring them down a little bit. And then if they still don't adjust, these actually, the holes typically are oval. So they're not oval right now. They're just drilled to size. So what we can do is take them back off, oval out the holes, and then move the latch forward so it catches on there. Worst case scenario, what you can also do is come in here and then trim the back of the catch so you take material off of it. That's the last choice. When I put these on, I made them fit. The door closed properly. So what I'll say right now is I will start with the rubber, work on the adjustment of the latch in that way, and then worst case scenario, we'll adjust and trim the latch striker plate a little bit more. All of them above are legitimate ways, but what you want the door, when it closes, it kind of closes flush with the body. So we'll work with all of those adjustments to get the door closing flush with the body. Well, Sunday, like I said, I can't go get my gas to continue welding the stainless steel pipes. So I decided to work on the doors on the Camera Lady's Roadster. Some of this stuff we had on before, so reasonable expectation that it would fit. Take it off, put it back on again. But like I said, on some of the rubbers, I did have to take them and sand them down, probably the better part of, I would say, at least an 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. Taking it off this edge and then off the corner as well. The catch on this particular side, I'd already dressed it before when I built the body, so that one was fine. The other side there on the passenger side, I had to work it quite a bit, take a little off, so that when the door shut, it actually caught. Now, the thing is, you're going to have to slam them just a little bit because you want the doors putting some pressure up against the rubber so that when you're driving, it doesn't rattle. If it's too loose, it's going to rattle. If it's too tight, it won't catch when you close it. So it's a fine line between fitting right and not fitting right. So you kind of have to creep into number one, get the rubbers so that the door is flush, and just maybe sitting like a 64th proud so that you want to be able to push, have some pressure on the rubbers so that the door is setting against the rubbers while you're driving and there's no metal on metal contact. Once that's sorted out, then the dovetails or the alignment pieces, essentially, when you put these in, don't expect them to fit perfectly. It just depends on your car. You may have to trim the inner edge where it goes up against the B-pillar. So place them in. And then basically take the mini grinder or a wheel or a file if necessary so that it comes in somewhat flush. This is straightforward to put in. Once you have the female dovetail put in place, then it's a matter of closing the door and then aligning up. Oh, where are you? Right there. Aligning this up. You can still see my little pencil mark right there. I just made a pencil mark where this fit. And then it's just a matter of drilling and topping. Like there's the pencil mark there. Make sure that the dovetail is in this way, because if it sits out this way, then it's going to make contact with this part, and then you're going to have to grind that. I've had to do that before, so I'm not making the mistake on this one. So anyways, relatively straightforward to do. Everything is all good right now. We've got both doors open and shutting. Takes a little bit of a slam to shut them, but there's no metal on metal contact except for the latch itself, and the doors are resting on the rubbers, so there's no give on either one. So over time, you may find that if there's a little bit of give to it, then you'll have to replace the rubbers in order for make good contact. You can adjust the catches, but I mean, if your door is flush where it should be, then change out the rubbers over time. But it'll take a while for that to happen. So probably I'm going to pick on something else here to work on. Either go work on the Ellie's 5-window coupe, do some wood on that, or some other bits and pieces here. The weather is not looking good for me to go pick up some gas tomorrow, calling for some freezing rain and some nasty weather. So I think we may have to pick on some small stuff here and inch the camera lady's Roadster forward, and then probably go work on some wood there on Ellie's coupe. So today what I chose to do is start working on the wood that goes around that rear window there. It wasn't all of the wood on that side of the car was missing when they got it. So we kind of had to replace it. The wood on the passenger side was here. It was chopped. So you can see up above, we had something to kind of go off of. I didn't take it out because I had some patterns in the basement from doing the other 5-window coupes, but I didn't keep anything like these pieces of wood that we're going to have to copy for the other side. So what I've done, I've made some measurements and some patterns off of this. It was chopped, so we still have to fix the metal chop here on both sides. But for now, I want to start making the wood pieces, and it consists of this piece, a vertical piece. There's another piece that goes across the corner here, and one across the top. So it's Ford made it in 4 pieces. They use wooden dowels here and there, and at these 2 joints, at those 2 joints to hold things together. So I'm going to try and replicate that in the wood shop. So anyways, I'll show you what I'm working on there to make these pieces, and hopefully we can get this wood done for that side in this episode. So here's my working area for making the pieces for that rear window. Like I said, I started off with some dimensions. I wound up putting all the different pieces on 2 pieces of paper because I didn't quite fit them on one. As you can see, the top one there is going to be the lower piece, and then these dimensions here represent the other 3 pieces: the top, the corner, and then the side. Now the side piece is the one that was chopped, so it's cut in 2. I think that the car was chopped 1 3/4 inches or something like that. But anyways, what I want to be able to do is make all 4 pieces so it fits the window as if it weren't chopped. So this is what I've come up with. I've made my 4 pieces here off of the dimensions. They're mortise and tenon joints on the corner, here, and there. So there's 1, 2, 3 mortise and tenon joints. They are pinned with dowels on the original. I think that they're glued. Also, in order for me to get everything all square, I took a piece of OSB here, took my outside dimensions for everything, and I'm basically locating my 4 pieces on the OSB to make sure that things are square. Next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes for the dowels for this joint, and that joint. We'll put the dowels in place. We'll glue everything up. We'll wait for it to dry, and then I'm going to come back and I will cut out this excess here all the way around. And then there's a right straight across here. It's cut on a 45 degree. Now what I did inside, I'll have to back out here. I took a piece of cardboard, and that represents the window where the sheet metal is folded in. So this is what I was using to lay on the plywood on the wood here to get my pattern. I checked it. It is the same on both sides. They didn't screw things up when they did the top. Both windows are the same shape, fortunately. So anyways, what the goal is here next, like I said, I'm going to drill the holes. I'll put some dowels in, glue everything up, wait for it to dry. We'll come back, we'll cut everything out. There still is another couple of relief pieces that we have to cut in. There's a notch right here, which is going to go across the top here, and that's where there's a bolt going in. And then on the bottom right hand corner, I have to make a relief in here where a piece of sheet metal will go and screw on it. But we'll do that after I get past this point. So making some progress on this. Hopefully I can get this done and get it in the car before the end of this episode. So after letting the glue set and trimming along the black lines like I marked out for where the window was, and then cutting that little 45 degree angle there, a little bit of sanding, and basically it fits in place just like I planned. Really didn't have to go back and forth a couple times and refit it. There is a gap, as you can see, between the window wood and the top wood, but that actually will tighten up once the bolt goes in. Now what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to put that in just yet because, and I think I mentioned this already, I want to actually fix up these welds here and there where the chop was, and then actually I can still have access behind it. So once I clean these up, I'll mount that wood in for good. But like I said, that was a bit of a filler until we got the gas in order to start carry on with the exhaust. Now, I've done some more work on the exhaust since I got the Aragon gas. The exhaust pipe, the owner wants us to come straight out or basically close to straight out the back and not on a 45. So I recut that, rewelded it. And then now we have a second mount in place. So there's not a lot of real estate in the back here. I didn't have room to move these rubbers on or off pins like this, like I normally would. So what I did instead, I actually just took some 3/8 nuts and bolts. I welded the nuts to the cross member. So these right now will just be held in place. I'll put some washers here when it's permanently mounted. But you undo the bolts, pull the rubber off, and then this will come undone, no problem. The rest of the tailpipe, he wants it to come all of the way out, but I don't have the gas tank here. I think that the pipe will clear the bottom of the gas tank, but I told him, I think we should, before I go any further with the back of these pipes, I want to have the gas tank there to make sure that we're sitting, 3/4 of an inch or so off of the bottom of the tank at the closest point. So right now we'll leave that the way it is. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start duplicating what I did on this side on the passenger side. So it should go a lot quicker here because there'd be no trying to decide, go this way, that way, this angle, that angle. I'm basically going to start at this point. We're going to do a straight piece and up. We'll put the muffler in the same position, and we're going to hang the mufflers the same way. So making some progress here, carrying on with the driver's side, or passenger side that is. And like I said, we did the same thing. Put a straight piece in here, made 2 little pie cuts in the straight piece so we can tip it up a couple degrees. We've got these reusable muffler clamps. They can tighten things on really tight. The nice thing about those, you can take everything apart, put it back together again, versus the old U-style clamps. And yeah, they can't take nothing apart once you put it together with those. So on the back here, now I'm starting to work on the tailpipe. So what I started with was a 45, brought a 45 out of the muffler, and I cut half of a U apart. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to weld that half of a U right there. I've got it marked. I'll weld those two pieces together and we'll drop down. And then what'll happen once I have this piece welded on, then I'll weld a 90 on the bottom of that. So we're going to carry on making the tailpipe on the passenger side here as we move towards finishing off the 33 exhaust. Well, it's getting a little late here on New Year's Eve, and I got one more weld done. I did a time lapse for it. I checked it. It's a little bit grainy. Sorry about that. I think the camera must have been focusing on the vise or something while I was welding, but I guess the point is it's the first time I was confident enough to actually film myself TIG welding. My confidence is going up a little bit better. Less likely to blow holes in things and just taking my time. It's like anything else. Everybody says TIG welding's better than MIG, but it's just taken me a while to start to get more comfortable with it. But working on the stainless, that's pretty much the way to go. You can get stainless wire for a MIG welder, but anyway, we're gonna keep plugging away. I'm gonna keep practicing with the TIG welder, and eventually we'll probably do some steel and TIG. Anyway, the point is, one more step further on the exhaust. Not able to get the bottom section out, but we'll finish that up on next week's video. But time's kind of run out here on New Year's Eve. Everybody needs to go relax. I mean, it's fun to play on the hot rods, but anyway. You'll be seeing this on New Year's Day, so I just want to wish everybody Happy New Year. Thanks for all the support, all the positive comments that we get. It's extremely rare for us to get a negative one. I really appreciate that. But if you don't like something, let me know. I might actually be doing it wrong, so I always appreciate anybody's feedback for working on this kind of stuff. And if you saw me doing something bad TIG welding, tell me. Just kind of learning as I go, teaching myself, learning by mistakes and everything else. But anyway, for this week, we Got a little bit done on the camera ladies 32 Roadster, the doors and stuff. Got some more done on the exhaust system. And we made a significant piece of wood there for Ellie's coupe. Again, it's not put in place just yet because I want to finish. I want to fix the welds up on the other side before I put the wood in place, but we'll carry on with that next week. So anyway, just again, everybody, Happy New Year. All the best in 2026. Thanks for your support. Please like, share, tag, and subscribe. Everybody have a great week, and see you next week.